What's up, my crypto legends? Yes, today is going to be the FOMC meeting. We're going to see what is going to happen with inflation. Also, if interest rates are going to go up, and we are going to see a massive correction still for the cryptocurrency space, entering that massive bear market that everybody's screaming on Twitter. We're going to take a look at some fractals here on Bitcoin on the weekly. Also, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin on the daily, and I'm going to show you where we could get a massive bounce and continue to the upside. You know the deal. Yesterday, I did mention that I was in a long position. I am planning to add to my long position if we go below $45,000. I do think that $40,000 or the low $40,000 levels is the floor for Bitcoin. And one of the reasons why is because the BTC number of non-zero addresses is still growing, guys. We had a massive sell-off at the end of the bull market in 2017. And also we do have the largest gap between hodlers and young coins in BTC history. Okay, I'm going to explain this in today's episode. This is extremely bullish. This is indicating that the whales are accumulating. We're also going to take a look at the S&P 500 traditional stocks because it is not looking too good here. We should be getting a bounce here, so we can see everything is going to be fine for crypto and the markets, because if we drop below these levels, it's not going to be looking too good. So make sure to stay tuned. Hello there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoinsensus. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Daily TA on Bitcoin crypto. Also do live stream to connect with the community. Not financial advisor. Don't pass out anything that I say, guys. Now, I want to show you something here that is happening for BTC that looks really, really interesting. Okay, we can clearly see, all right, we've been talking about this now for the last week, where BTC is actually getting supported from these lower highs, right? Okay, and we are getting supported. We've had now a couple of weeks where we have been bouncing at this major support, which is around about that 45k range, okay, with a little bit of volatility to the downside. Now we can see on the RSI here how we did create these lower highs. All right, we did get heavy resistance back in August, but we finally broke the resistance from these lower highs on the RSI. Now what is happening, we are back testing the RSI resistance and turning it into support right now. And if I zoom back here in late 2019, we did have a very similar scenario. I wouldn't say the same thing, but we were creating, okay, these lower highs on the RSI, getting resistance every single time, as you can see here on the chart. And then finally, we had a back test, okay, of the resistance here on the price action, turning it into support, but also on the RSI, as you can see here. So very similar here. What happened in late 2019, beginning of 2020 is happening right now here on Bitcoin. The only difference is that we did not break the highs here. We almost did, and we just about broke the highs here on Bitcoin. So is this similar price action going to happen for Bitcoin, where we are going to get a bounce just at the low 40k levels? One thing that I have noticed here for the last few weeks is that we haven't had hardly any volume, and you can check out some different exchanges. But you know, from this run up, we don't have hardly any volume, and from this run down, we also hardly have any volume. So this is also indicating me that we haven't topped out for Bitcoin. We want to see a massive spike in volume while we're going up. I'm going to show you here with just, you know, the last few months, how volume is very important to find out a potential bottom or a potential top. Right over here, we did see the spike in volume, okay, in May that indicated a local volume. The price did slightly go below the 30k levels, hitting 29 or even 28.5 approximately, but we didn't go much lower, okay? This is just volatility that happens afterwards, and you can clearly see that this was the local bottom right over here back in May. We didn't go much lower than 30k levels. Now, if I zoom out here, we also had a top right over here. Okay, this was a local top that we created after having a retracement. We had a retracement afterwards, and you can see this is the highest point of volume that we had for from months before and from months afterwards. So you can see the spike in volume in the middle, indicating a potential top right over there. We can just zoom out here. And yeah, we can see the Black Swan event that we had back in March of 2020. It's a massive spike in volume. This indicated that this was the bottom. No volume higher for the last month's a few months from that and months afterwards. Okay, so this indicated a bottom, also a spike in volume. And just for the sake of it, we can see this spike also in volume. Volume here is at its highest point right over here. As you can see, we can create kind of a pyramid there, and you can clearly see that the spike in volume right over here indicated the top here back in June, July of 2019, all right, where we did hit, that almost that $14,000, and then we had that massive correction. So like I just showed you right now with these couple of examples for the last few months, volume is also important to determine a top or a bottom. So this is why I do not think that this has been a top, because the volume has absolutely disappeared. There's no actual real volume here. So that is one of the reasons why I do not think we've topped, okay, for Bitcoin. Now, let's take a look at the short-term analysis here on the 1 hourly, because something very interesting that has happened, all right? We've been talking about this potential head and shoulder and this potential fake out also. We were just consolidating around that 47K area. We didn't have a successful breakout, as you can see, from this major support level. We just went slightly to the downside. Now it looks like BTC is having a little bit of a recovery. Now, the good thing about this pump over here is that, one of the largest pumps here for the last few weeks is one of the largest volumes, is this one right over here, where we did have this dip and we had a massive wick, meaning that there is buying pressure. Okay, the bulls don't want the BTC price to go well below the 47K levels. This is why we did have this massive wick. So what has happened right now over here is, by looking at the volume, and this is one of the reasons why BTC could actually pump more in the next coming days, is because if you take a look at the back here from this really high volume, the back of the candle, this is where we did have this spike also right over there. You could arguably discuss that this is a double bottom scenario right there, as you can see. And we've had a little bit of pumpy action, and this pumpy action has had pretty nice volume, okay? Much more than the volume that we've seen for the last few days. Now, apart from this red one. Now, we have broken the back of this major candle, meaning that, in my opinion, if BTC does retrace back down here, we should be getting a pretty good bounce at the 47.5K levels. And the reason why is because we have broken the back of this red candle with this amount of volume. Okay, volume is not great, but it's enough to indicate me that if we do come back down, we should be getting a bounce if we do not continue here slightly to the upside. Now, after this price action to the upside, this doesn't mean that if we do start pumping from these levels, we could have a massive fall down, but we will analyze the situation depending on the volume and price action in the next coming updates. So this is what I got for Bitcoin in the immediate short term. I do see a little bit of more pumpy action in the next coming hours, or potentially day or two, or depending on what the FOMC says, okay, this evening here in Central European time, because we do know that, they're going to talk about inflation. Are the interest rates going to go up? If the interest rates go up, it's not going to be good news for crypto in general. The deal, I got my long position here on Bybit. I am planning to add to my position if we do go down to low levels, or depending on the volume and the structure of the market. I will be informing you about this on my live streams. And if you are an experienced trader and you want to trade this volatile market, Bybit has got the best bonus down below, up to $4,100 worth of bonus by using my link in the description. On Prime XBT, you get 25% discount by using promo code Bitcoinsensus50. If you use my link, you'll be eligible for the next bonuses on Prime XBT. And good news about, the BTC number of non-zero addresses, guys. According to Glassnode, we are seeing the addresses of holding Bitcoin growing every single week. It is crazy, okay? It's been growing since the 2018 bear market. As you can see, when we were going sideways, this is the price of Bitcoin, okay, back here in the gray. And this is the number of wallets, okay, going up well above, not just reaching 40 million, okay, right now. So this is growing exponentially. Now, when you peak in a market, a lot of people, panic sell. Usually, this is what usually happens, especially retailers. Okay, as you can see here back in 2017 peak, there was a massive crash. Also, people actually emptying their wallets to zero, okay? And this is not happening right now. A lot of people are still having interest in Bitcoin and crypto in general. In this case, it's Bitcoin. So people are buying. Newcomers are coming in Bitcoin and buying and buying and buying. So this is a very good sign, in my opinion, that market hasn't peaked, because usually when you peak in a market, a lot of people empty their Bitcoin wallets, right? Another thing here is this, okay? On Glassnode data, we have the largest gap between hodlers and young coins in BTC. And this is absolutely crazy, all right? This is a massive bullish indicator, and I'll explain why right away. In the green, we have the hodlers, the ones that have been holding Bitcoin for ages, and they are actually buying and adding to their wallets. In the green, we have the peak right over here. Well, it was almost the peak. We did have another peak right there. But, this is back in 2015. And this was actually the bottom of the market, or very close to the bottom, where we do see that, the short-term hodlers, the short-term comers into Bitcoin were actually, selling their Bitcoin here at a loss, or just getting rid of their Bitcoin because they saw the market just going sideways and slightly to the downside. Now, what we have here also back in 2018, December of 2018, is a massive spike in accumulation, okay? A lot of those long-term hodlers were actually buying Bitcoin when we were at the lowest part of the actual bear market. And here we can see also a spike to the downside of short-term hodlers just getting rid of their Bitcoin. Now we are seeing a very similar scenario right now, okay, where the long-term hodlers are actually accumulating more Bitcoin. We are at all-time highs here, as you can see, all right? And usually this is a really good buying signal, because we can see also the short-term hodlers, short-term comers into Bitcoin are selling their bags, okay? So we are reaching the lows here, as you can see, and reaching highs in long-term hodlers accumulating BTC, because I think they know what is going to happen in 2022. All right, this has usually been a great buying indicator when we do see a spike, an inverted spike, okay, where the spike goes for the long-term hodlers and the spike to the downside for the short-term. They get rid of the bag. This is what usually signs that the market might continue to the upside. Guys, the S&P 500 traditional stocks, also very important to note that it is at a critical level here. We do see a very strong support right over here. We're just holding by a thread. I think all depending on what happens with the FOMC meeting today, we could have a massive bounce from these levels, or actually break it and come all the way down to the 4,500 points, all right, in the next coming days, where the S&P 500 would be losing over 100 points. This is where we do have our next major support level. So this is something that we are going to pay attention if we lose this major support range in the next coming hours. So make sure to subscribe. I'll be doing a live stream afterwards. Thank you very much, guys. Check out Bitcoinsensus website. We've got the latest news and technical analysis ideas here. Check out my Bybit in my Prime XBT tutorial to learn how to trade on those platforms. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.